Hello, my name is Mansu, or you can call me Ivy. Today I'm going to present a chapter called Gate Decisions, the Key to Manage Risk During New Product Development. This is written by Jeffrey B. Smith. The agenda of today's presentation will include the abstract of the chapter, analysis, and finally my critiques. In this chapter, Jeffrey basically explains what and how of gate decisions are made. He starts by explaining what gate decisions are, then moves on to explain why they're so important. He finally concludes the chapter with some suggestions on how to improve the techniques on making gate decisions. Moving on to analysis. This chapter has a very logical structure, so it made it really easy to understand. First, at the beginning, the author mentioned gate decisions are among the least understood aspects of NPD process, and they're often poorly taken. I agree with the statement. That's the current situation of NPD process. Based on this statement, the author starts to introduce some brief concepts about gate decision. He elaborates on different gate types. There are major two types that he categorized: the rigid gate and the flexible gate. The major differences is just for rigid gate is you have to pass all criteria in order to pass the gate. As on the other hand, for flexible gate, you can only pass like partial criteria to pass the gate. These differences are implemented through different components, and these components are identified as deliverables, criteria, and decisions. To summarize, gate decisions are based on latest result that we have, comparing them with the goals or standards that we set before. Then we can decide whether to continue or to stop or to hold of the project. The author explains a lot more to illustrate how the criteria or hurdles are they're compared and how the decision should be made. He also introduces 6 most commonly used gate criteria. Given that importance, we can easily see why it is vital to make a good gate decision. And at the end, the author lists dozens of methods on how to improve gate decisions. As I mentioned before, I totally agree with the point. Gate decision is the weakest aspect of the NPD process. To add, I think it is also the most important aspect of the process. A lot of successful or failure products were direct result from gate decisions. To list a few examples, invention of the light bulb. Thomas Edison never gave up, but he continued. So the good decision for him was to go on. Huawei, on the other hand, now the second largest telecom equipment supplier in the world, make a critical decision to develop telecom products using its own technologies in early 1990s instead of continuing to buy products from Cisco, Qualcomm, or Nortel, etc. So that's made them successful. Some failure cases like HP, it gives up its tablet based on WebOS after launching in market less than a year. So the decision was to stop. Similarly, Microsoft Zoom phone, it just never got on market since it was born. So to be or not to be should not only be thought by Shakespeare. It is also a tough question and lesson to be learned for every decision makers. Gate decision can be defined anywhere in the NPD process, but like shows in the chapter, it's mainly covered by 4 stages. And these 4 stages are identified as the first, opportunity identification. The second, preliminary marketing and technical assessment. The third stage is development and testing. And the final stage is to launch the product. The gate decision made by Qualcomm at each stage during acquiring AMD's handheld business unit can be interpreted as a perfect example. Graphic processor was only practical by using desktop PCs. Visually compelling mobile applications such as advanced user interfaces, web browsers, navigation programs, and games are now widely seen and used on mobile devices. To obtain optimal performance while minimizing battery drain, device manufacturers are relying on hardware graphic acceleration. For example, the liquid graphic technology of iPhone and Blackberries. It gains tremendous user experience. Qualcomm was focusing on its processor and radio chipset, but the blooming market of smartphones and tablets requires high graphic performance. The opportunity came around late 2008, while AMD was struggling with that and trying to sell the mobile graphics and multimedia assets. Qualcomm made a decision to buy. So Qualcomm made a decision to buy it. The preliminary marketing and technical assessment was very positive because Qualcomm itself makes phone processors and radio chipset. It will be a great benefit to integrate graphic processors for Qualcomm. The market aimed at smartphone manufacturers like Samsung, RAME, or LG, etc. The development and testing of the new graphic chipsets was very successful, so the decision was to launch the product. And of course, the gate decision made here was right. So the response of the market paid back Qualcomm. Qualcomm's integrated graphics solution, Adreno, is the most complete and widely available solution for rendering 2D and 3D graphics applications, and is already shipping in many handsets, smartphones, and game devices from the world top manufacturers. To conclude my presentation, I'd like to recommend this chapter to individuals who has interest in learning MPD process and who is willing to become a gate decision makers later on. Thank you.